just theaverageguy.tv and find the live button. And then on the live page right next to the video is there's the chat wing, and there's some red boxes in the upper right hand corner. Choose those, it'll pop it out for you.
I think I got it.
And it's going to be a slow night. It's summer, so we won't have too many.
Already?
I know we have just 3 in the chat, so it'll be. We'll see what we get tonight, but
awesome. Okay, I got it.
But it's good, Aaron. We're gonna cover. I want to talk a little. We had a little mini disaster tornado here in Omaha, in Bellevue, just Friday. I lost power from Friday till Tuesday. Shauna didn't even know it happened. She was she lives up north, and it wasn't as bad down south here. It was really bad. And then I want to talk a little bit of you did a backpack post that
I did.
That I'm interested, because my backpack's 13 years old and it's on its last legs. So I
actually think you'd really like this one. Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about it, and then we'll save the end for the dental tech.
Are you sure you want to do that? Look what happened last time.
We'll have time. I'll make sure. I want to tease everybody because that's what they're waiting for.
Right.
No, they're not waiting.
I know it's what you're waiting for.
I know. I'm the only guy on the planet who's excited to talk about Wi-Fi or connected toothbrushes.
Oddly enough, I kind of just thought it was just this thing. And I was like, oh, well, since there's so much, there's plenty to talk about. So I'll do this series. But the response I got and the feedback from dentists and just the interest about, oh, well, what do you think of this brush? And well, if you were going to compare all of the brushes, which brush would you choose? And there was so much interest in it that I was floored. I had no idea.
Wow. Yeah.
No idea.
Love it.
Well, it's we'll talk about it, but it's one of those kinds of things I am super interested in, and I would pay more attention to it if I had an app in front of me or my phone showing me. That's just cool. So we'll talk.
Yeah. Okay,
we'll talk some about that. So, all right. Well, we got a few more joining. We'll give it an extra minute or two, as it's a lazy summer evening. How's the weather been up north for you, Aaron?
Cruddy. Wow. It's been just kind of an okay spring. It hasn't snowed recently, so that's because it does that here in July sometimes.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy for us to think. You're in Calgary, right?
Calgary, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just been okay, but we're heading for Washington's coast
nice.
Next week.
Nice.
So, and I hear it's quite warm. So
nice.
Yeah. So the eclipse is coming through, right? So August 21st, the eclipse is coming through, and it goes right through the Portland, Washington area. So you got to think about. I'm going to be in California, so it's not far from here. In fact, we'll probably do a show about it as we get closer.
But we should. That's really cool.
It will go just to the south of us. It'll hit Lincoln, and then it goes just south of Omaha. So if we drive down an hour south, you can be right in the path of it.
Oh yeah.
But I'm going to be in California. I'm going to a podcasting conference, and so I'm in California, and Portland's too far north of this, so I'm going to miss it.
It's a bit of a haul. I drove that a couple of summers ago, Portland down to, we only got to San Fran, and it was still.
That's a 9.
It's a long way.
That's a 9. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
beautiful.
Gorgeous along the coast there. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I should start Spreaker. Let's get that going. Hey, if you're joining us on Spreaker, we're live, and we'll get started here in just a second. So hang tight if you're catching the recorded version of it. We'll get started here in just one moment. Can I get a sound check from the chat room as well? If you guys are out there, Ken or Peter or a phone number guest. That's an odd one. That must be a chat wing account. Rennie, if you let me know if you guys can hear us all right. I want to make sure that's all set before we get started. All right. Peter says we sound good. All right, ladies, I'm not sure. This could be a Home Gadget Geeks first that I'm outnumbered.
Good.
So girl power.
All right.
Power tonight.
We gotcha. I'll show you how it's done.
I'm not quite sure I know what to do here at this point. So. It'll be great. All right, let me kick this thing off and we'll get going. Aaron, thanks for coming on. Shauna, great to have you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Here we go. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 315, recorded on June 22nd, 2017. Here at Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home. News, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios in an almost damaged AverageGuy.tv studios. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But here in Bellevue, Nebraska, of course, we post a show with world-class show notes each week out at the AverageGuy.tv. Don't forget, you can join us live on our mobile app as well. Maybe the best way to experience this live if you're on the road. Head out to homegadgetgeeks.com. Hit the Android or iPhone a player there, download it, get that app available for you for free, download it and have it on your phone. Best way to listen to it on the road, and we stream live out there every single week. Again, homegadgetgeeks.com. Well, thank LastPass for their sponsorship of that app, and they have been good partners with us, and we appreciate their sponsorship and all that we do. And, of course, don't forget we've gone commercial-free both on Spreaker and on YouTube, so you don't have to mess around with those pesky commercials anymore. YouTube commercials are just a nightmare. So we've turned them off completely. They weren't making any money anyways. YouTube pulled in, I think they cut that by 3/4 for most of us providers. So commercial free, head out there, watch everything on YouTube if you'd like to do that. Lots of great ways to do it. Everything we have available at the AverageGuy.tv. Because of all that commercial free, if you want to sponsor the show, don't forget we got a Patreon and a Amazon link. The Amazon link is working again, so if you want to join us out there, if you're shopping on Amazon, and Aaron, sorry, Amazon US only at this point. I had a Canadian one, but it was making like 3 cents a month, and it was.
I'm sorry. I'll shop more next.
I couldn't. The Canadian. You guys are always complaining how expensive this stuff is compared to the United States.
That is a whole nother show about how much more we pay for the same products in Canada than you do.
But hey, you got great health care, right? That's all that
yes,
really
we
matters.
do. Come on over.
You got great health care. So remind you to use those links when you are shopping, or if you want to support the show, $1, $5 plans on Patreon. Easy way to do it. We thank our patron supporters that do it out there, and we appreciate you guys and all that you do. All right, well, you heard her laugh just a second ago. She's been on the show before, but she's filling in for Mike Weger. Mike is out this week, not available. Shauna Dorsey is back. Shauna, welcome back to Home Gadget.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you, and good to have you back. Summer here in Omaha. It's warm in Omaha, and we're just glad to be inside, right? In most cases.
Yep.
What's going on right now is the College World Series. Everybody knows what now. Only people in Omaha care about that, but 1 million people come to Omaha. Shauna, have you made it out to a World Series game yet?
No, so can't do College World Series. It's always like 100 degrees out there. I just can't mess with that. I watch it on TV a little bit, but that's about it.
Yeah, there's no better time to be in Omaha than these weeks. ESPN is in. There's tons of stuff going on downtown. It's a party-like atmosphere. The LSU fans get here and they just wreck the place, and so it's always good to be in Omaha during the College World Series. Shauna, I don't go
That's
either.
true.
I should, and I don't.
Should you? I don't know. I think we're good.
I'm at risk for severe sunburn, so maybe it's a good idea I just stay inside. Hey, I mentioned it earlier, and Aaron, I want you to think about this for a second. I'm going to spring this on you, but we just had a tornado come through. So I mentioned that, or as I was opening the show, we had in Bellevue, typically where I live, I always say a beautiful Bellevue, Nebraska, and we've been isolated from severe weather in the 17 years I've been here. We've never really had much severe weather. We had power outages from time to time, but we had a tornado come just within miles of where I live. So we had 120-mile-an-hour winds, and it was just insane. Of course, we lost power for 4 days. It was, you start changing some things over. When you think about disaster tech, those things you need to have on hand. I mean, you review a lot of gadgets. I immediately went out and bought 2 of those two of those batteries. They have a light on them, and you can plug your phone into them. You get 2 or 3 charges. For the girls, they loved having those, and we could charge those up, and they get 2 or 3 charges. But Aaron, in the stuff you're reviewing, when you think about disaster tech, what are some of those kinds of gadgets you should probably have on hand for those times when the power goes out or you're displaced or some of that kind of stuff?
One word: camping. If you are a camper, or if you can even pose as a camper, camping gear is great for this stuff. And I'm a camper. I love being outdoors. I love getting unplugged from everything, despite how much I love tech and technology. But I find camping gear that's where all the stuff is. Those lanterns that you were talking about that are, LED lights that also double as a speaker and a power bank. Perfect. I keep ours always charged up just if we're going to go out and, head out on the road. But we've had power outages and I've brought them in and used them for that. Or, just portable flashlights that are also power banks. I keep those charged up at all times. So any of that kind of camping gear stuff, solar panel chargers, right? That you can just sort of fold up like a little accordion and then open it up if you need it. Any of that stuff is super handy. And for the most part, we've always got it with us. It's either just out in the garage or down in the basement. So get yourself a little fresh, tech camping gear. And I think you'll also be prepared for disaster.
Yeah, I like the lantern, the LED lantern idea. I like it with the extra battery. You know what I'm noticing in kitchen installs too? I'm seeing this maybe on these, these shows where they redo the homes. It's getting more and more popular to put electricity inside the drawers so that you have like a charging drawer now. We've always put them up on the counter or whatever.
Yep.
But now I'm seeing a lot more where they have USB ports built into the back of the drawer or the side of the drawer. Have you seen any of that in home centers or like that, Erin?
I've seen some of it, and you can actually get a lot of lights and LED strips and that kind of stuff that's it's just got an adhesive back so you can put it anywhere. And we had the light above our stove went out and just kept blowing and blowing and blowing. It wouldn't work. So we finally forget it. We'll just learn to live without a light. And then I got a sample of some LED lights. I think it was from Philips. So it's a light strip with an adhesive back, just sort of wrapped it around the inside of the range hood and connected it to the app. It's perfect because now I can set it on a timer. It's on off with my phone. I can change the color. If we're having a dinner party, it's something a little more subtle and cool. I know it's just the range hood light, but it still looks fun.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, right? And it's so much more energy efficient than the lights that I was blowing out of it, monthly, pretty much.
Well, those bulbs, the old school bulbs you'd screw into the those are incredibly they're awful.
Inefficient.
And you're talking about LED, sometimes even little LED stick-up lights that are battery operated have really good power. Shauna, have you, in your charging station there at the home, is it still on the counter? Do you have any special device, or are you just old schooling it, plugging it in and forgetting it?
I am so old school. Plug it in, forget it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. As nerdy as I am, you'd think I'd have one of those 10-port charging stations on my. You've seen those, Erin, right? They get little slots, and you can plug the things around them. But no, we're still kind of, just plug it in, throw it on top of on the dresser, or, I have not. Erin, have you done any wireless charging for your phones? Have you converted anything to wireless where it's just, it's the inductive kind of click it and forget it?
I did try one induction charging case from a company called Dog and Bone out of Australia. And their setup is you put a case onto your phone. Mine was the iPhone at the time. And then basically you just drop the phone in the case onto this flat pad charger and it'll charge it up. It worked great. The case wasn't too bulky. It wasn't sort of getting in the way. I used that for a little while. And I kind of forget why I stopped using it. Maybe I should look into that. I think it was when I upgraded my phone, it stopped fitting.
Oh, yeah.
But they're so handy, right? And I'm looking at some other options for doing that right now as well with my my new Samsung Galaxy S8 that I'm playing with. So
yeah, Shauna, I know you're a battery girl. You have an extended battery on your phone 24/7. It's one of the things I only use when I travel. But you must. Do you wear that thing out every day? Do you get to the end just about every day on?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where I switched phones, so I'm on a Pixel now, which I love, and I have the Otter, which to me is more valuable, OtterBox, which is more valuable than the charging case because I drop this thing all the time. So I just have a bunch of cables. That's
how are you surviving without an extra battery? I mean, you're on that thing. That is your primary device. I watch you do what you do. Are you making it without an extended battery at this point?
Yeah, what's really great is when my phone dies, I can actually pay attention to people. So that's good.
That's a good side effect.
Well, I mean, to come back to the disaster thing, what I kind of learned is it's interesting when the tech stopped working. I had no power in the basement. The router eventually, the UPSs eventually died. I couldn't get Wi-Fi at home. I did have it on my phone. We spent some time, but you have to talk to each other.
Right. That's true.
It was the weirdest thing. I was like, what do we do? You want to play cards?
You
Like
have teenagers too, don't you, Jim?
just one at home, and she's pretty good at being bored, but it was still one of those deals where like, what do we do? Like, well, I guess we can go to bed. I mean, the sun's going down. I felt like a farmer, so it was a weird. It was just, but as the days progressed, I got more and more comfortable without having to be connected to the tech. And I think if I had gone a couple more days, it would have felt really good. And so I've understood there's this word called vacation where people do those kinds of things, and I haven't necessarily done that in a while. Maybe it's a good. Shauna, do you ever disconnect? You're even more connected than I am. Do you get away?
No, I try. One quick story. I was in Jamaica about 2 months ago, and I was able to connect to their Wi-Fi, and then I got it on my phone, and then I plugged my phone in. Well, I use my phone as a little hotspot to get on my laptop and do work on the beach. I'm like, really, I really, took it a little farther. I should be on the beach enjoying myself, but
yeah, it's hard to
it's
disconnect.
really difficult.
Yeah, Aaron, you're super connected because you got to be writing all the time and filing. And do you find it hard to separate and kind of walk away from the crowd, so to speak?
When I plan for it, I don't have a problem just going into the middle of the woods and not having Wi-Fi, not having cell service even. But anymore, I kind of almost plan some trips around being able to work there. So are we going to a place that's got Wi-Fi where I can do some work? And that affords us the opportunity to travel a little bit more than we might otherwise be able to, because we can justify it by working a little bit. But then when I really want to relax, when I really want to unplug, we're going to do that next week. We're heading to the wilds of Washington State and the Olympic National Forest.
Nice.
And my phones will probably be off. I'm going to just try and disconnect for a few days.
Good.
Yeah, no, it's good. I haven't done that in a while, and I kind of need to. It was one of those, the disaster kind of, with the power off and whatever. It was kind of like, wow, this felt pretty good. Now, as soon as power came on, I was home plugging things back in, firing stuff back up. I was happy to have it back on. But it did, I got to that point where it took me maybe a full 2, and I was pretty grumpy during those, while you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Like it just takes a while to shift over. So I think for us tech people, I think there's some value in separating yourself from that and making sure you're intentional about it. Well, everything was fine here. We're back. Power's back up in the studio, and we're fine, and everybody was fine. Fortunately, for the tornado, no one died, and that's unusual in a tornado that it did as much damage as this one did. In fact, very few injuries, and so we were really fortunate with as much damage as it did. About 75,000 people without power here in the Omaha Metro, between Douglas and Sarpy County. So we were super fortunate. Fortunate enough, Shauna didn't even know it happened. She had just checked out, and
she had unplugged.
You know what is so funny is that when you said it was a tornado, that's the first I heard it was a tornado.
Really?
Tornado. So I didn't even know it was a tornado.
Yeah. Well, you're busy. You're a busy person. Welcome back. We
welcome back. Yes.
We want to dig in a little bit on backpacks, because even though I've been talking about, we'll do the dental tech here in just a second. Super excited about that. But Aaron, my backpack, I bought, I'm going to say I've been a Gallup 10 years. I bought it 2 years before that. So 12 years old. I've literally taken it all around the world with me. It's a Swiss, it's one of the Swiss, I forget the brand name, pockets everywhere. I mean, it's been an awesome backpack, but the handle is starting to tear. It's fraying. People look at me funny when I come to work. They're like, dude, can't you do
Jim,
better?
Are we not paying you enough?
I know, exactly. And I'm like, it's like my kids, when they were younger, their teddy bears that got all worn out, but they just didn't want to get rid of them. Well, that's my kind of security blanket. But you recently got an opportunity to review, and what's the state? I mean, it's crazy, some of these backpack setup, but what's the state of where we're at with the way we carry around our laptops?
Well, I think backpacks are, especially if you're sort of a business person or, you're connected, you're mobile that way, backpacks are the way to go, just because they're the easiest way to carry the most stuff. And like you, I've had a bunch of backpacks, and I've really never been happy with any of them. And they either look like you're going to the gym, or, you know, they're that kind of creepy leather stuff that makes you look a little too, I'm not sure what, a little too trendy. I don't know. But I've just never been able to find anything that sort of fits everything I want to carry, can keep my technology secure, because I do travel with my laptop a lot, and that looks good, that I can take, you know, if I'm just going out camping, or I can take to a meeting if I've got a meeting. So I had a chance to look at this backpack from this company called Targus. There's Targus in the US and Targus in Canada as well. So I tried out their mobile VIP backpack, and it's basically made for, you know, commuters, for tech professionals, for people that have to lug all that gear around. So it's got a ton of pockets. It's got a sling for your laptop, so that basically if you're to drop your laptop down, you know, or not your laptop, but your backpack, if you set it down hard on the ground, I've done this in a regular backpack, you can hear the crack of the laptop hitting the floor. This one's got a sling, so it's not going to hit even if you drop it hard, which is fantastic. And I tested this out a little bit, didn't go too far, but it works. And then it's got all kinds of other pockets for things like your tablet. It's got huge pockets for accessories, and, you know, and then just little things that you carry around, like pens and headphones and chapstick and whatever else goes in your bag. So I wasn't expecting to like it when I got it, and I was actually really surprised. It fits everything I needed to take with me. It's very comfortable. It's really well weighted and well balanced. It's not too big. It's not too small. Because I've tried out other tech backpacks that really, you've got room for a laptop and a pen, and that's really it. But this was good. It fit everything I needed to. So I was super happy with it. And if anybody wants more details on it, it's on my blog, which is techgadgetscanada.com.
Yeah, let me, I think I've got that in the chat room as well. We'll have a link to it in the show notes. I'm a carrier. I mean, like, I use a backpack when I'm traveling as a backpack. Like, I want it to fit nicely. I have I want it to clip with a strap here so that it's evenly distributed across my shoulders. I mean, when I land in Washington, D.C., I've got to walk a ways to get to the metro. I got to ride the metro into the office. It's going to stay on my back a good majority of it. When I'm on campuses, oftentimes I'll get 15 or 20,000 steps in a day on campus, just walking around campuses, right? I've got to go from room to room or do presentations, right? I mean, there's a great usability, but when we think about comfort, do you think this is where I think a lot of tech backpacks go wrong? Is they have great compartments and then these really crappy straps. You know, it's like the strap was an afterthought. This any better?
It was a lot better, actually. And I had a chance to compare it to something that was not as good. I bought another sort of, I'll call it like a designer tech backpack, and had been carrying that around for about the last 3 or 4 months. Once the Targus one arrived, I was trying it out, and it's very comfortable. The straps are comfortable. They're wide. The kind of designer fancy one I have has kind of thin, narrow straps that are really just, there's no padding in them. It's just the fabric.
They weren't really designed to wear. It was like, hey,
right.
We wanted to make it in the backpack category, because backpacks have been kind of cool lately.
Yes.
But you're not really going to use it that way. And I really do. I mean, I almost want it to be more comfortable. The one I have has a pad even for the lower back, where when that sits there, it doesn't rub against you. It's very, very comfortable, and I can wear it for hours and be comfortable with it. So it sounds like there was some thought that went into this to make sure it was comfortable.
Whoever designed this backpack is actually very smart, because it's got those breathable panels in the back, so that if you are lugging it around through 20,000 steps on campus, you're not going to be a sweaty hot mess when you get wherever you're going. And they've just sort of thought of everything with it. There's like side pockets that are expandable, where you can keep your phones, your water, that kind of stuff. There's also one of the pockets you can reconfigure. You can put sort of a little shelf across the pocket with Velcro, so that you've got 2 compartments, or you can make it into one big compartment depending on what you're doing. And then it'll unzip so that you can run it through the airline, the X-ray screener, and not have to take it out of the bag. And then it's got one of those little straps that you can hook it over your wheeled luggage to carry it through the airport, and it's not going to slip off. So pretty much everything that I didn't know I wanted in a backpack, this backpack has.
Yeah, and even looking at the design, it's really, it's clean, but it's not too too much, because the thing as a woman, walking around with the bag on your shoulder, it's easy to get that thing snatched, which is not good, of course. And then also just something that's not too flashy. I'm definitely like a low key kind of a person. So
Yes.
that would be great.
I feel like I could head to a meeting and somebody's not thinking I'm going to the gym afterwards, or I could even head to the gym and people aren't thinking that I necessarily came straight from work. So it fits in.
I like it.
Well, and the style I have, from 12 years ago, it kind of looks like it belonged on like a stormtrooper. It's got that red and black and shiny stuff, and and it was just cool, right? It was curves, and it was, it's got I've got things you can tie onto on the outside, and hooks and all that other stuff. It looks like this design is more kind of self-contained. Everything's kind of on the inside. One of the though I do have some concern. I've actually lost things in my backpack. There's so many pockets, right? And you're like, wait, okay, I've got this converter, this video converter. I need to go VGA, display port to VGA, and I've got that adapter. And you're like, zip and open it up, and zip and open it up, and you're like, oh, what pocket did I put that in? As you are working with this, is there a smart design to the pocket system as well? In other words, no pocket is more, because I literally have some pockets that are 5 zips away. Like, this is like you think about click on a website. This is too many clicks to get there. It's too many zips. Is this better?
Yes, I think it was. I put everything that I carry with me sort of every day into it and carried it around. And I didn't feel like I couldn't find anything. I know exactly what you're talking about, because I have had one of those backpacks where it's like zip, 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 zip. And there's another little zipper pouch inside the 3 zippers, and
like a hidden pocket and a Velcro piece. And then,
and you're like, that'll be perfect for my headphones. I'll always know where they are. No.
Right.
Honey, where's my headphones? I don't know. They're 5 zips away. Okay.
The solution there, headphones in every pocket, which is what I usually do.
Yeah, no, just buy 4 pairs and have them, multiple places in your backpack. So it sounds like, though, and I love what you said. It's got the zip. You disconnect for the airport, where you don't have to take the laptop out, put it in a tray, that kind of stuff. I need something. Do you know what the retail was on this? And I know it's a little different in Canada, but do you remember what the retail on this was?
I'm not quite sure. I think it's about $100. Okay.
Let's just look it up. Because I might buy it tonight if that's the.
I think you'd be really happy with it, actually.
Shauna, what's your MO for getting your gear around? What do you? It seemed to me, I think you're a little bit of a minimalist, aren't you? You go with just the minimal.
Yes. So I don't carry a purse around anymore. I've got a laptop at home and a laptop at the office, and I kind of just leave them wherever. I have one at each place, so I don't have to carry them around. And I do a lot of my work from my phone, as you know, Jim, from being in meetings with me.
I know. Yeah, we're dangerous together, because it's like we'll just pull phones out, and then like 25 minutes later, we haven't looked at each other, but we're still on the phones working stuff out.
Well, yeah, we're like, hey, let's make a connection. It's like stuff's happening in person, but on the phone. Yeah, so otherwise I've got this Kenneth Cole bag I bought a long time ago. It's green, it's kind of crappy, and I have to buy a new one like every 2 years because it's like this fake leather thing. But I like it. But I lose stuff in it all the time.
Too big?
Too big. Too many pockets.
Yeah, pockets seem like a good idea, and they never are.
Remember the Scotty vests? Aaron, did you ever do any review Scotty vest type, where I haven't
reviewed them, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
I would lose myself.
Is it like all the pockets?
Yeah, it's all the tech pockets. There's like 19 pockets in this vest or jacket, or I'm like,
photographers love them, and I have no idea how they find anything.
You can feel it. You're like, okay, it's right here, but how do I get to it? Like, I don't.
Zip,
you unzip it down.
Inside zipper.
And then there's like a secret zipper on the zipper to. So the mobile, it looks like on Amazon here in the United States anyways, $90, and there's
$100 Canadian. So
sorry, it's always
right
more
around there.
Yeah, I apologize on behalf of America. I apologize that it's always more expensive in Canada, but 78, I can see it as low as 78. That's actually pretty reasonable. I think I spent $75 on the laptop that I have now, or on the backpack that I have now. So Brian had said in the chat, he had said he loves his Targus. Is that how you pronounce that? Targus.
Yes.
Yeah, his Targus City gear. He can carry a laptop, a Surface, an iPad, a 15-inch LCD monitor, plus a huge amount of cables, dongles, and etc. Yeah.
Brian, what are you doing carrying a monitor around in your backpack?
It's a duffel bag, apparently. And,
you should rent a car.
Targus does have a roller version of it as well, a 15-inch roller version. So if you wanted to get the handle, like for the airport or for travel, and they have a briefcase version of it. So pretty cool. I think
they've actually got some pretty smart gear. I'm fairly new to getting familiar with the brand, but I've been really impressed with what I've tried out from them so far.
Yeah. Rennie says in chat, sounds like his wife's bag, a veritable black hole. So it's well, that's an issue, with all these little small. So during while the power was out, so I'm finding all our battery gear that I have, and then I'm starting to find, okay, well, I got to take the chargers with me for all this stuff. And Shauna, you use a Mophie case for your iPhone, or you did before you switched, and I'm a Mophie guy too. Well, Mophie has its own charger for it, although you can use a USB mini for it, but it has its own desktop charger. So you start rolling all these things up and taking it with you, and you realize, like, you end up like Brian. You've got like 50 cables in your bag, and then you're going through. Hey, just a second. I've done this recently where I've unzipped the bag, and then I just in mass start pulling cables out and dropping them. Okay, and then I'm going to go through on the table. So there's got to be a better. I mean, Aaron, with all the stuff that you review. We kind of thought we were going to do the micro USB, but then Apple's got its own thing, and we're talking USB-C. Do you run into that where you just don't have the right cable all the time? And we got to get standard, right? Can we get there?
Yes, I would love that. And as someone who, we talked about this on the last podcast last month when I was on, but I recently switched from Apple to the Samsung Galaxy S8. So I had everything in the Apple ecosystem, and really one cable for my iPad, iPhone, different one for the laptop, and I had cables everywhere in every room. And now I'm like, oh my God, I have one cable for my phone. Where is it? And it's never where you need it. So I've been fortunate in that I've been able to try out some new test samples of different cables from some other companies. I'm just looking over here. There's a giant pile in the corner of my room of some stuff. Ventev is one of those companies that sent me some new gear for my Samsung. And they're doing a lot of the USB-C stuff. But it would be really nice if everybody could get on to one standard. But I mean, do we remember beta versus VHS? Like, people will just not agree.
Yeah, well, it's a problem, and I got a bunch of them, and then everything comes with a cable, and so you jam that somewhere, and it's just a mess. Well, it's interesting to think through the bag that we use to carry all the stuff that we have, and every time I try to be a minimalist, I go somewhere where I needed something, and then I'm like, oh. So I come home and I buy 4 adapters to make sure I'm never without those again. And then they sit there for 2 or 3 years, never use them. Technology changes. I'm like, you know what? This was $35 and I never used it. And now I'm tossing it because the technology's changed. So I don't know. Maybe that's the rule of just in time, where you buy it as you need it. And even though you're going to pay more at an airport, or you're going to pay more at the gas station, maybe that's the right way. I always try to be prepared, but maybe the right way is just in time. I don't know.
Well, no, a lot of power banks too, Jim, are being made with just a USB plug, so that, I mean, you can plug in your Apple cord, you can plug in your micro USB, you can plug in your mini, whatever you've got can just go into, get charged up. I know some of those are changing as well, but it's almost like an interim solution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the Targus bag is going to be mine. So I think later on tonight, after we're done, I think that's because seriously, I'm getting looks. It's like, and I'm carrying it around a lot more. I've been more mobile at work, which is interesting. So we just built a brand new tech floor. Shauna, next time you're at Gallup, you need to see our new tech floor. And it's literally every desk is a standing desk. Every desk has a place for just a laptop and a monitor that's mounted. So you just walk up to it. there are assigned desks, but there are a ton of just open small rooms, and every room is connected with every kind of thing you can imagine to get, connected into it. Big screens everywhere. I mean, it is amazing. Not enough power. What I am finding, not enough power plugs, but we even have 2 like restaurant style areas where they're booths instead of, that's kind of become what we're finding is people are going and they like the coffee shop feel.
Mm-hmm.
So we've brought the coffee shop into the enterprise. And I come in the morning, I grab a cup of coffee and I'll head up. I'll just keep my backpack on and I'll head up to the 3rd floor or whatever. And so at work, I'm more mobile, which is interesting. Like, being mobile in the space that you have an office.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I don't know, Shauna, you may sense this because you go into organizations all the time. I know we're moving to a more open concept, and I've been kind of a little skeptical of it, but I don't know, at AIM, are you guys offices, or are you, do you have a more open space, or what do you prefer?
I prefer having an office if needed, but I don't really spend much time there. I'm working on that. But we have a pretty open floor plan on most of our floors. And then there are some offices for like VPs and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm barely in my office now. I'm going to people, or I'm sitting in open spaces. Aaron, what's your preference when you think, would you rather, I know when you got to write, you're probably going to want to hunker down, but do you have any preferences?
I'm mobile when I write. I have a home office that I do the bulk of my writing in, but I bought a laptop, and I have the laptop for the reason that sometimes I just need a change of pace. I need a change of scenery. I need to get a little bit inspired with what I'm doing. So I'll walk down to the coffee shop near my house. I will, go from what I'm doing at work in the morning and just take my laptop with me and go hunker down somewhere, downtown or even outside sometimes, just to get a change of pace. So for me, as long as I have my laptop with me and a pair of headphones, I can pretty much work anywhere. And
I don't even need to block out the noise. Shauna, you come over and visit with me. We sit out in the open, and I think get a lot of work done that way. Do you prefer it that way? Is that what you said?
I'm sorry, you're asking me.
Shauna, yeah. Do you prefer it kind of open, and do you need to plug in? I mean, lots of folks say they've got to get the noise. We do a lot with water noise and some white noise in our offices, but do you have to get away from those distractions? Do you need to put earbuds in or headphones?
No,
Shauna?
it kind of depends on what I'm working on, right? So if it's detailed paperwork stuff, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. If it's detailed paperwork stuff, then definitely I need some background music and maybe earbuds. And but just kind of creative work, I like to be around some distraction. So people around is kind of the best for that.
Yeah. I get a lot of energy from that, to be honest with you. When people are moving on around me, Aaron, sounds like you're in the same boat. You kind of feed off that. Not everybody's that way.
Yeah, if I need to hunker down, I need to hunker down. But you're absolutely right. There's times when just having people around you, I don't know whether it's stimulating your senses or just sort of distracting you for just the right amount of time while you're people watching, but that can be really fun and inspiring too.
Well, I find having that backpack with me now throughout the day, instead of going into my office, dropping the backpack off, grabbing my laptop, I've actually found having the laptop with me is a little better. The only problem I find is I leave it everywhere. And so I got to remember, I got used to just picking up the laptop and walking out of the room. And I realized, and so I get a call in the afternoon, hey, your backpack's at our desk. You left it here for the 8th time. And we recognize it now without even having to look inside it. So
you need? You need one of those tile trackers or similar, right? Where it goes into the pocket of the backpack and it just stays there. And some of them you can actually pair with your smartphone, so that when you get a certain distance from the tracker, your phone sets off an alert and is like, hey, Jim, your backpack is back there.
Yeah, you left it, or a shock collar, one of the two. That might be better. Oh, I got to go back, and it only take once or twice, and I would be done. Well, interesting as we look at those things that carry our things. We just bought new luggage as well, and man, luggage has changed to accommodate fitness gear and in technology and, you know, all this stuff. It's amazing what they're putting in these things. So I'm looking forward to a new backpack, and we'll get that ordered. So thanks for that. Thanks for doing that. That's awesome that it worked out that way.
Yeah.
Aaron, you wrote some, this is really the topic I wanted to talk about, and nobody else. So like, if you're not interested in dental technology, right? Toothbrushes, and you could probably just fast forward this, but
no, you're about to be.
Yeah, no, totally. You should maybe stay around, because it's one of those things that for whatever reason, you know, years ago I bought an electrical, you know, toothbrush, and I about destroyed the gums, because I'm one of these guys that thinks I'm the one who's supposed to apply huge amounts of pressure on my teeth to get, you know, the stuff out. And the dentists are like, no, let me clean your teeth. You just use the brush gently, type deal. And then you sent me some links, and I will throw that link in the chat room too as well. It seems like you've been reviewing some of these electric toothbrushes, and there's like some serious tech behind it. And then you got a better response than you thought. So talk a little bit about that.
I did. It started with one toothbrush and then like multiplied into, I think, 5 or 6. And I just sort of got curious about this one toothbrush in particular. I thought, I should see if I can try it out. You know, who knew there was technology in toothbrushes these days? And the more research I started doing on, okay, well, there's this toothbrush, now there's this one, and then there's another brand, and then there's, you know, 3 other brands. And there's so much technology going into toothbrushes and dental technology these days that I ended up doing a 5-part series on the blog and the YouTube channel about all of the options, because I was just really surprised at what's out there. And then there's also a big level of difference in technology, from sort of the most basic technology to super complicated. So that might actually be a good way for us to explore the options for this tonight, is to sort of talk about the lowest tech options, and then we'll wrap it up with the crazy toothbrush that is going to blow your mind, Jim.
Yeah, let's do that. Start simple, and let's work our way up.
Right. So one of the first toothbrushes I tried out it's called the it's made by Foreo. It's called the ISA. And it's basically a silicone toothbrush, full silicone, and the bristles are silicone as well. So Jim, the thing you were talking about where you're trying to grind at your teeth with the toothbrush and apply all this force, and that's something my dentist told me is called aggressive brushing. And I do it too. So
well, good. I'm glad to see I'm not the only one who struggles with that.
Shauna, are you also an aggressive brusher?
Not too bad. No.
Okay.
Not too
All right. Good. You're doing it right then. So my dentist had said the same thing to me, Jim, was like, you need to calm down. You're going to wreck your gums. You're going to dig into your teeth. And that's what happens, is you actually end up wearing away the enamel on your teeth because you're brushing too hard. And then the abrasiveness of toothpaste eats away at it as well. So I got this Foreo ISA toothbrush. It's all silicone. And because the bristles are silicone, they're much gentler on both your teeth and your gums. And I thought, well, it can't possibly be cleaning my teeth right. So I ended up using it for about 3 months, and then went back to my dentist and said, how does it look? And she was like, oh, actually pretty good. You know, it doesn't look like anything has changed. So it's not as though she looked at it and went, whoa, this is amazing. But she said it's basically doing as good a job as the regular toothbrush I had been using, but it wasn't damaging my teeth and gums as much. So the ISA brush, it uses ultrasonic technology, which is basically kind of sound waves, I guess, to sort of shake all the dirt and junk and plaque and everything else off your teeth. But it's the fact that it's silicone, it's a little more sanitary. You just change the toothbrush head out every, I think it's probably 3 to 6 months. I'd have to double check. And it's a lot gentler. So that was sort of the simplest one I tried. And then there's a different option for brush heads with that one as well, where you can get sort of a hybrid, they call it, it's got some of the regular toothbrush bristles, and then it's sort of ringed by silicone. So if you kind of need that little bit extra, you can get that option as well. But that was the first sort of tech toothbrush I tried out, and I really liked it. And that was what was sort of the springboard for some of the.
Oh, we might be losing. We lost you for just a second here, and you're back now.
Good.
What was the retail on that one? Do you remember?
I think it's about 220, and
This
again,
is-
that's probably Canadian.
This
So
is but even if it is Canadian, this is the crazy thing. As I started looking into this, I could buy this like when we started thinking about thermostats. Like before the Nest, I would go to the hardware store. I get a $30
$6.
thermostat. Yeah, throw it on the wall, and I would adjust it with my hand. Nest comes out, we're spending $300 on a thermostat, right?
Yeah.
I was surprised with some of this new technology. It's pricey. I mean, you're talking anywhere from $100 to $300 for some of these products. So this is pricey.
I'm not going to lie, pretty much every toothbrush that we'll talk about tonight is over $200. I just double checked the blog, and it's 229 Canadian. So of course cheaper in America.
Yeah, I'll say 179 in Amazon, free
Sure.
shipping. Prime.
I'm sure.
We'll rub it in.
Yes. Well,
all right.
So yeah, so they are all pricey, but in some cases you're paying, for that technology.
Yeah, I know.
So I would say the next sort of level up, there's a couple toothbrushes I tried out from Philips. So there's the Philips Platinum and then the Philips Diamond Clean. And sort of two tiers of similar toothbrush. Let's start with the Platinum. So the Platinum is basically kind of a more basic electronic ultrasonic toothbrush. It's got a bunch more settings. The Foreo sort of has limited settings and limited, configuration options, I guess. The Philips Diamond Clean is, you can do a more sensitive, I think they call it sensitive mode, where if the vibration of the toothbrush is really off-putting, you can actually dial it down. Or like Jim, if it's like if you feel like you just need a bit more, you can crank it right up.
But I shouldn't need.
You shouldn't. But the bristles, they're all gentle, right? So, I mean, if you can still get the soft bristle brush if that's what you prefer. If you want something with a little bit more, I guess, rubber or silicone to it, you can as well. But the thing about a lot of these toothbrushes is they'll actually tell you when you're brushing too hard. So, whether it's by pressure or there's the other toothbrush, the other Philips one, which is, it's the Platinum. It'll tell you. So it actually changes the vibration pattern when you're brushing your teeth with it. And it kind of vibrates differently. So you'll know you're pressing too hard and you have to back off. So that's kind of one of the ways that the technology has evolved, that it's just going to tell you when you're doing it wrong, basically. Mm-hmm. And the other way that these are sort of evolving is they've got apps. So the Philips toothbrushes in particular, you can connect an app to them, or at least to I think it's the Diamond Clean. And it basically will track your brushing for you and time your brushing for you. So it's not so much that it's smart and it's watching you, but you could say it's coaching you through your toothbrushing. So it wants to make sure that you're going to brush for the right amount of time, which in my research I've learned is about 2 minutes. And you don't want to press too hard, so it'll let you know if you're doing that. And then it also sort of will give you a guide to, have you covered all of the areas of your mouth? Because one of the other things I learned through testing all these toothbrushes out is that I tend to brush more on the left side of my mouth and on the bottom than I do anywhere else. Which, if you'd asked me before this, I would have said, no, I probably do a pretty good and even job, and I think I get all the teeth and I probably cover it really well. Nope. Had no idea I had a penchant for one portion, one quadrant of my mouth.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, we get into these habits, these rhythms in what we do, and with the standard toothbrush, you just don't know. And this is honestly, when I saw this, when I read this, was like, okay, this is the kind of accountability I need. One, I love to compete against myself, so I would be like every night I'd be like, okay, I need a score. Right. I want like a toothbrushing score. So how well did I do tonight? And then the next night I want to compete against myself again. Like, could I get that score? I'm the LastPass guy that's constantly checking my security score. And I'm like, oh, I could get that, 3 percentage points better. So I am very much, I love this. We're going to talk about even a smarter one here in a second, but to me, this gets me fired up. Brian Hour, who's been really helpful tonight, said, by the way, that toothbrush, 162, and he can have it delivered today. So,
Oh my God.
yeah, and I said,
nice.
America. I said, America. Now, he lives close to Amazon distribution center, so he has that ability. But again, $160 for a $7 toothbrush. You know, you can get it at Walmart for $7, and that's paying a lot for a toothbrush. So, anyways, I love this. I love this app concept because I need that competition.
And that's you're basically gamifying your nightly or morning routine, right? And what you were saying about you want to sort of challenge yourself and compete against yourself. You can do that in these apps. They'll track stats for you. They will give you a progress report on how you're doing. They'll let you know if it's, if you brushed longer and better today than you did yesterday. So you've constantly got that data coming in, which now this is something you have to ask yourself if you're thinking, do I need a smart toothbrush? Do I want a smart toothbrush? Do you want to be that connected to your toothbrush? And I kind of found that initially I was like, yes, oh, this is so cool. And I found that learning the data about which side of my mouth I'm brushing more on and getting all that information was super helpful. And then once I had it, I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think, well, I should probably check in on it every now and then. So for me, I'm probably not going to connect my toothbrush to an app, 2 or 3 times a day every time I brush. But it's the kind of thing I think I would do sort of every month and just make sure that, okay, I'm still on track. I'm getting in all the places I need to be getting, cleaning as long as I should, because you think you're brushing your teeth for 2 minutes. When I started actually timing myself with this, I was probably doing it for just over a minute. So I was really only brushing my teeth for half as long as dentists will recommend.
And you could open your phone and just start a timer. As I think about this,
toothbrush, I can do that.
Yeah, with the free toothbrush that I got from my dentist. Right? Shauna, let's check in with you. Let's check in with you halfway. Are we enticing you? I mean, would you?
No, this is great. So it's like kind of like a Fitbit for your teeth, right? Yeah. I kind of like that idea. I have a Philips Sonicare that I've had for a little while. It's great. And this is a funny thing. I love to tell like embarrassing things that I did not realize about technology. So here's one more. This toothbrush has one of those quadrant timers. I didn't know what this I thought it was like turn it off a little bit. I'm like, is this thing broken? And then it also turns off after 2 minutes. And I only realized that once where I got distracted somehow. And I was like, wow, it just turned off. And then the next time I was like, okay, that's the 2-minute timer. It's just, it tells you how long to brush and it gives you a little warning on each quadrant that, if you spend enough time there, move to the next one. If I would have just read the instructions when I got the thing, that would have taken care of it. But
how much?
I never do that either.
Shauna, how much was that toothbrush when you bought it? Do you remember?
Like 120, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, so pretty good price. I love that, Aaron. I love that idea too of the feedback it's giving you, like you're brushing and then it just kind of quits. It's like, okay, move on. Like we don't need to dig in here.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going. And it's always so unsatisfying when I go to the dentist and they clean your teeth because they've got the right equipment and you just want to I just clean and they go zit, 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 zit on each tooth. And you're like, seriously, is that enough? But apparently it is, right? We don't need more. All right, let's take another step up. I'm telling people way more about my dental habits than they ever knew.
We're getting to know you really well.
Let's step up. Yeah, they'll be like, that Collison guy, he doesn't say anything about his personal life, but we know about his teeth.
Yes.
So
let's very clean.
What's the next? Well, I'd want them cleaner. What's the next step up?
So the next step up, I would say, would be something called the Oral-B Genius 8000. Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds like something from the future.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So this one is the next step up. And I say that because this one actually uses your phone. It's got the app, but it also uses the phone's camera to actually watch what you're doing. So
Yes.
Jim's helpfully popped up the blog here. And I've posted a video on the blog and on the YouTube channel about basically what it does. So you put your camera, you affix it to the mirror, and then point the camera, you sort of get it all set up and configured, turn on the app, turn on the brush, and it watches where you're brushing. So it's actually tracking you based on, the camera and your hand position and everything else to show you how good a job you're doing. And it's tracking you in real time. So this has sort of more built-in technology. It's also got some other neat features. There's a light up ring around the neck of it, I guess, that it's an LED light. You can make it whatever color you want, whatever your favorite color is. You know how you have a color for your toothbrush, so you can pick your color. And then when you start brushing too hard with it, it'll actually turn red and make that funny buzzing sound that lets you know, hey, back off, back off. So, and then, a lot of these toothbrushes too, they come with a travel case that also, of course, doubles as a power bank and a recharger for the toothbrush because they're all rechargeable. So I found it so weird, yet so satisfying to have my phone watching me brush my teeth and giving me real-time feedback on what was happening. Yeah. It's kind of unnerving though, if you think about it.
I don't know. I would not, I track, so in our fitness, we said the Fitbit, I track so many things when I do fitness that in fact, I'm holding back from buying this thing because I'm like, yes, I want to. I might even get one of my older phones that I just leave permanently on the, there, so I don't have to like attach it there. I just want it there, and then again, it'd be terribly satisfying. So I don't find that creepy at all. I know, Shauna, do you find your phone watching you brush your teeth? Do you find that creepy at all?
A little bit, but what I was laughing at was thinking about on the last toothbrush, she said, what if I just bought a $7 Walmart toothbrush and then put a camera? What I was thinking you were going to say is like, what if I put, oh gosh. What if I put one of my old phones and fix it to the mirror and then just watch the video later? That's what I thought you were going to say.
I could do that too. Hey, we could vlog that way, right? It's my teeth.
There's a whole new YouTube channel in the works here, Jim.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody wants to watch that, but it does bring it brings in here when we think about this, just these habits that we get into, right? And adding, I use a Microsoft Band, but I could use a Fitbit for my workout. Adding that tracking to everything I do, heart rate, pace, distance, time. I'm a competitive guy. I compete against myself all the time. In some of these habits and some of these daily habits like this, and I think, most recently we've been trying to eat better, the evening meal, and my wife said, maybe we ought to just order a few of those Blue Apron meals or those, this home delivery technology has gotten really good about delivering these fresh products, and then figure out what those recipes are, take the ones we like, and then just buy them, then just go buy them locally. But it is one of those things for me where you kind of start thinking like, okay, I could track a little bit more and get a little bit better on the habit. I could. So for people like me who need that kind of daily tracking to kind of keep them going, not everybody needs that, but my personality definitely needs that. So for me, it would be one of those things where, once you figured it out, you're like, hey, I'm good. I would want to make it better every day, yeah. And I might get to a month or 2 or 3 and then kind of realize, we lost Shauna. She'll come back here in just a second. I mean, she had to go brush her teeth.
She's going to get her toothbrush.
Yeah. So Aaron, with all these, is that all of them or do you have one more?
Oh no, Jim, I have one more.
Keep going.
Oh,
but wait, one more.
So the last one, and this one is definitely the most high-tech one I have to show you. I actually brought it here. Now, I realized people listening to the podcast won't be able to see this, but maybe they can check the video or look after. Yeah. So what it is, it's called the Blizzident. And it's basically a giant sort of mouth guard shaped toothbrush that's sort of got bristles in where you would normally just have, the rubber from the mouth guard. And what you do is you put the whole sort of mouth guard into your mouth all at once, fills up your mouth, and you sort of just chew on it and move it around for 6 seconds. It brushes your whole mouth in 6 seconds. How does it do this? So what you have to do to get one of these Blizzident toothbrushes is you have to go to a dentist and they do a 3D scan of your mouth. So basically they'll put this scanner in, they wave it around your teeth. It takes like less than 10 minutes. It's completely painless. You could nap through it. Take the scan, it renders a 3D model of your mouth. You send that digital file off to Blizident, and then they basically take this sort of map of your mouth and build the bristles into the mouth guard shape of the toothbrush so that every bristle is like configured to every angle and aspect of your teeth. So it's getting into every tiny crack and crevice of my own teeth. So I've seen similar ones of these that are basically just, you know, a generic row of bristles on either side. And, you know, that might work as well. I haven't had a chance to try one of those. But this one, I tell you, it cleans your teeth like you would not believe.
Really?
And it truly does take 6 seconds. You just put some toothbrush or some toothpaste rather in your mouth, like use your tongue to sort of rub it around your teeth, pop the Blizident brush into your mouth, chew on it, and you're done. And without getting too specific, let's say, you're getting a lot of junk out of your teeth this way. And if you think about it, it should work better and faster, because instead of using, you know, a 3/4 inch tiny little bristle on, you know, 2 teeth at a time and then trying to work your way around your mouth evenly, this basically is angled to get every tooth every time all at once, and then you're done. And so I found it was a bit hard to get used to, just because it's not like anything we've ever seen. And it is big. I mean, you've got to sort of, shall we say, practice.
I was going to say, how do you, like, I mean, that would feel awkward because it's basically a large mouth guard, but it's got the bristles built into it.
And you probably can't hear this. It's hard plastic. So it's not a soft rubber like a mouth guard is. And I was kind of trying to figure out, I'm like, why don't they make it out of soft rubber? Like that would be much easier to deal with. But the bristles would probably just slide right out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's definitely a hard plastic. And it is a bit to get used to, because there's sort of a way you've got to get it into your mouth and then sort of get it
That's
seated.
for you, right? You did that that's yours, right?
Yes. This one has been made for me. Wow. And there's a photo on the blog again and on social media on Instagram and probably on Twitter as well. But it's, you know, I'm kind of smiling around it in my mouth, and it's big. It's big. I think if you had a bad gag reflex or, you know, that kind of thing, that you couldn't go here, I don't think. But for someone like yourself, Jim, that takes oral health very seriously, you might like this.
So what's the price? What was the cost on that thing?
Oh boy. So if you thought the other toothbrushes were expensive, this one I think is upwards. And again, Canadian to US being a bit different. Canadian dollars, when I figured it out, I think it was about $500 when I factored in the cost of getting that dental scan done and everything else. Yeah. So it's not cheap. But again, you're getting something that is so customized to your mouth and to your individual teeth that's where the cost comes in, right?
Yeah, the tool that they use to take the pictures inside your mouth when you went into the dentist is great technology in itself, because it's taking thousands of little pictures and stitching them together in real time. So the dentist has got this big computer there. So last time I had to get a crown, and they wanted to match it exactly to what I had before. So before they did any work, they went in there and took a picture, like they were talking about, of just that section of the tooth, around the gum, that area. And he goes, you're going to hear a little clicking. It's going to be painless. You know, it'd be great. And he let me watch it build the image in real time. It was cool. So you hear this click, 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 these thousands of little clicks going on while he's, you know, there's no pattern. He's just kind of randomly, you know, and it's stitching it together. And you can see on the monitor, it's putting these pictures together and figuring it out. That was super cool. So the technology...
I did the same thing, Jim. I was just going to say, I had my camera out and I'm like, it's scanning me, and I'm trying to get like a selfie of the 3D scan happening. And then I'm trying to turn the camera around and get a shot of it populating up on the screen. And I'm like, wow, like we could do a whole story about how cool this machine is. And then I'm like, wow, I'm getting really too involved in dental technology.
But it's kind of cool. I don't know. Really Shauna, you saw the big What's it called again? It's called a Blizzident.
Blizzident.
Blizzident. Shauna, would you? Man, that would seem awkward to me. I've done a lot of things for the dentist. I'm not sure I'm going to put that and chew on it for 6 seconds. Shauna, what do you think?
I don't know. Probably I'd try it one time. Why not? Maybe the best thing ever. 6 seconds is better than 2 minutes.
It's a huge time saver, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So how often, Erin, do you use that now?
Not as much, and not for any real good reason. Honestly, it's for me, for starters, I have 4 toothbrushes in my bathroom right now. Because as the tech blogger, that's
right. That's what you do.
How you roll.
Right.
So I find it's my habit to just grab for a toothbrush. So because I've been using the Foreo for so long, that's usually the one I'll grab for. But when I want to do, I've been using the Blizzident sort of about, I would say every week or 2 weeks, just to sort of give myself a really good deep clean. And the only real reason I don't use it all the time, because it is way faster, is just because for me personally, it is so big and it's hard to fit. And I really sort of have to like steel myself to get it ready.
Some work to get it in there.
It is a bit of work. And it's not to say it's painful or unpleasant. It's just not as fast as me grabbing my old toothbrush, walking around, packing my bag while I'm brushing my teeth. And it's just a habit. And if I really thought about breaking that habit and just went, you know what, I'm just going to use the Blizzident from now on, and I'm just going to make a point of grabbing it every morning, I could easily break that habit. It's just, I get up at 3 a.m, and by the time, I've had my coffee, I'm semi-conscious. So habits are hard to break at 3 a.m.
They are. That is tough. I'm not sure, as cool as that sounds, and as quickly, I mean, it's 6 seconds of use, but you got to prepare a little bit differently for it, and you got to work getting it in, and then it's a little uncomfortable. And I do have a gag reflex, so that could be difficult for me. I'd hate to spend all that money and then try it one time, and that
would be the thing, particularly with this one, is I think you basically have to be sure it's going to work for you. Or you're going to be out a significant amount of money. Emily had asked in the chat window how often it needs to be replaced. And they say about once a year. And once you've sort of gone through the process of having your first brush made, they replace them for a lot less. I think the replacement price is somewhere around half. Don't quote me, but it's significantly less than that. And then you probably only need a new dental scan maybe every 5 years, because once we get to a certain age, our teeth aren't shifting and moving as much. And then I can't read what that.
It's Ken. That's Ken.
Ken, hi Ken.
That's Ken. Yeah.
Ken asked, do you need to use a lot more toothpaste? No, you actually use a lot less, because just a tiny smear, you sort of smear it across your teeth with your tongue, and top and bottom, and then you just sort of brush it around. And honestly, I don't think you need as much toothpaste, because with regular toothbrushes, toothpaste is the abrasive thing that cleans the teeth. But with the Blizzident in particular, the bristles are what's cleaning your teeth, because there are so many of them and they're so perfectly angled to every tooth. You don't need as much toothpaste to get the same effect.
There you go. Save some money on the $4 toothpaste
and spend it on a
$500. That's awesome. Stargate Pioneer in the chat room also is talking about he's looking forward to the nanotechnology days when we release little, and they, instead of a Roomba, they call it a toothba, and you just let it go. You would put it in, and it would, or maybe a bunch of them would, and then I don't know how you get them out. And don't swallow them.
Right. Well, or maybe then they do something else. Maybe they clean something else after you swallow them.
Oh, yes. Wow, we went there. Well, it's cool. This is nobody except you and us now are talking about the technology behind a tooth, the toothbrushes. But Erin, you said you're finding you got a lot of feedback from who watches you on TV and your blog, and and even dentists calling you. Is that what happened?
I had a ton of interest from dentists who, they're paying attention to this kind of stuff, but they're like, oh, that Blizident, does it actually work? Tell me about it. And, even just questions from ordinary people saying, okay, well, I do think I need more technology in my brushing routine, or my dentist has told me that I need to either brush more or brush more evenly or brush more often or for longer. And, we were just talking about habits and how hard they are to break. I think doing something like switching out your toothbrush and going for something that's a little more high tech is going to be the tool that gets you over that hump and gets you into a new routine that's going to ultimately be better and more healthy for you.
Yeah. I don't, Shauna, do you find with your $120 toothbrush that you're more inclined to use it more often? Do you think about like, I really need to make sure I'm using this all the time because I spent that kind of money on it? Or is it just become just another part of the appliance?
I think just another part of the routine, because I've had it for about a year now, so I don't really think about the cost anymore. It's a great toothbrush though. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to think about it. I'd love to. I need to get in the review game with you there on like. There's a lot of things I don't want to review now, but Aaron, I would definitely because it's a great review product. You're definitely brushing your teeth a couple times a day, and so it's something you're using, and like I said earlier, there's some great technology that's coming to it. So thank you for letting me talk about this, by the way.
I am glad I could share my knowledge with you.
You wholeheartedly went in, and I'm super excited about it. It'll be interesting to get some feedback from those who are listening to say, and hey, if you didn't like it, we're not going to cover this probably again for a while. But there's some great for me, there was just some real interest in it, and I have to kind of think. My experience with electric toothbrush the first time was so bad, I thought, no, I'm just going to stay manual so I can really control. And I have this thought, as soon as I start brushing, I'm like, okay, lighten up, like you don't have to grind it. And they remind me of that every time I go see the dentist. So it'd be fun to try one of these and see if that helps. Helps in my routine. So good. Well, believe it or not, we're at the end. It goes super fast. Aaron, thank you for coming on and filling us in. You got super expensive with me tonight because both the backpack and the toothbrush stuff is stuff I want to go out and buy right away. We with the disaster, just a quick story on the way out here, with the power going out, we moved our all our frozen stuff to my oldest son's house to, okay, we can save this stuff before it goes bad. So we get it in his freezer. And we're really careful with it. And so power comes back on. We bring it back home. I asked my daughter to put it in the freezer. Well, we had turned the freezer, we were defrosting it, using the opportunity of no power to defrost. So my wife had turned off the freezer so that even when the power came back on, we could start the freezer again. So my daughter puts stuff in the freezer, but it's not on. So shuts it. So a day and a half later, all the meat melts.
Oh, gross.
Yes.
Was it bad?
Oh, yeah. It was gone. Yeah, it was gone. So you were like, oh, all this work we went through. And, it's just a mistake. It's not a big deal. But, all that work you go through to try and, keep generators on and move it around and, all that stuff. And it's like, oh, shoot. So we hopefully are done. I'm hoping we are done with this part of the week. We can get into this weekend, enjoy some sleep, and longest day of the year today. I think today's the summer solstice, so longest day of the year. Hopefully you enjoyed all the sunshine. You guys get a lot, right? You're way north, so is it still light outside for you?
Oh yeah, it's 8:15 where I am, and it could be 5-6 o'clock right now. It'll be light up here until about 10:30, 10:45 tonight.
Yeah, is that hard getting used to?
I like it. I love the light. I love the daylight. It makes it a bit hard to sleep when you're supposed to go to bed at 9 o'clock. But,
yeah, because you got to get up early.
I do.
And although that makes it easy because the sun's coming up about 4:30, probably 4:30.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
So the sun is up these days when I'm getting up. So
yeah.
At least
so it's not too bad. A lot of gadgets for that. Shauna, thank you for jumping in here and being a guest host. How did it feel?
Thank you. It was super fun. I'm like the low tech one here, so it's good.
Yeah, well, but it's great. It's always great for me to have somebody else here with me to ask some questions as well. So thanks for jumping in, and
Yeah,
Thanks
absolutely.
for you guys hang tight for just a second. I'll remind everyone, don't forget we've got the Amazon affiliate link and Patreon links out there on the front of the AverageGuy.tv. So if you're so inclined to do that, you can pop out there and participate in that as you feel you can or you want to. Don't forget, you can send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv. You find me on Twitter. We're doing Twitter stuff all the time, and I love to chat with you on Twitter. So at Jay Collison, get you there as well. Christian has mentioned to me that Maple Grove Partners is humming along nicely, and we've been adding a couple customers here. I think I'm one of the few guys that advertises it, so I think they're coming from here. So if you've recently become a Maple Grove Partners customer, thank you for doing that. Remember, you can get high speed, reliable hosting, both media platform, all that stuff from Christian. Very secure, and of course, he sets it up for you. So some great stuff. Hosting plans is inexpensive as $10 and a month, and so he would love to set you up. Yeah, it's a great deal. MapleGrovePartners.com, and of course, he sponsors the show with hosting here at Home Gadget Geeks, so we appreciate him. We were going to do a Cyber Frontiers, but I didn't have any power, so we didn't get that done this week. We'll do it next. So if you're a Cyber Frontiers listener, we will be out with 32 here, I think, pretty quick. You might want to watch for that or resubscribe to it in your feed. And then last but not least, we want to thank LastPass for their sponsorship of the show and their mobile app. And you can find that homegadgetgeeks.com if you haven't done it yet. And we got LastPass coming on the program here in the next couple weeks, and got some cool changes if you're a LastPass user. Aaron, do you use LastPass at all?
I do not know. You'll have to educate me.
Yeah. So passwords, do you do anything for password management? Any software for password management?
I'm not going to tell you what I do because it's both embarrassing and unsafe.
Yeah, don't tell us. We don't want to know. Shauna, anything for password management on your side? You using any software or anything?
No, just that good old memory.
Yeah. So think about this, because I have 300 passwords, right? I mean,
Oh
between everything that's there.
Mm-hmm.
So LastPass allows me to securely, using a web browser, autofill, or I can put them in a file. I can go to the vault and insert them myself, but it remembers them for me. And it also helps me generate all these really complex hard passwords. So things I'd never come up with, like a 16-character password that has symbols and numbers and uppercase and lowercase. Hey, I can't do that stuff. You just click a button, it generates it for you. Then it changes it at the site, and then it stores it for you. Stores it securely. You have only you have the key to unlock the passwords, and you can then, it keeps track of them. You go to the site, it says, hey, do you want to automatically have us log in for you? And you just say yes, and boom, you're in. Check it out, Aaron. You might be interested in it.
I am looking it up right now.
LastPass.com. Shauna,
thank you.
You were going to say something?
Yeah, I just don't trust that. I'm like, so it seems that even the most secure systems are getting hacked these days, and I'm like, I don't think I want all my passwords in one thing.
Yeah. No, it's totally. It's one of those kinds of things. You're giving up a little bit of trust. I have the master password. I and only I have the master password locally, and to encrypt. So my files go to them, so I can, so that I can sync it around the cloud. But they only get half of the encryption. So even if they got hacked, what they hacked is just gibberish. They would have to have the other half of my encrypted key to make it work. And so it's security convenience, right? We talk about it all the time. It's one of those kinds of things. You are certainly giving up. If you're writing it down somewhere, or you're keeping it in a book, or it's in the drawer, or it's those things have their risk. No, right on. Hey, I just don't have enough brain power, Shauna. You're way smarter than me.
Yeah.
So
I should have more than. Anyway, go on.
No. It's great. So the LastPass sponsors the show, and we appreciate they doing. So Aaron, let me know if you have any questions on that. They're great friends of the show and good sponsors.
Awesome.
And
I've just downloaded the app, so I'm going to check it out.
Good. Give it a try, and it's just try the free stuff to begin with. They have a premium account as well it's $12 a year, so it's not even.
When you have 300 passwords, you need that.
You do.
That's true.
Helpful. It's helpful. And, one of the things that's really helpful with that is I share that information or parts of that information with my wife. So if something were to happen to me, think about that. If I'm the only one with the password to some of those,
true.
What do we do?
That's so true. That's something you never think about.
I know. They have an emergency vault. They have emergency access. They've thought about this. Something happens to you and people need access to your accounts. They've kind of thought through, how do we get that? How do we get that access to those people?
Okay,
so
I might be kind of sold on this. That's a good point.
check it out. Let's just say check it out. Don't commit
I
to
will.
it. Put a few passwords in, and if you don't like it, you can delete it. But those guys are really working hard to make that work. And there's other RoboForm and some other ones that do it as well. But of course, LastPass sponsors here, and so we appreciate their sponsorship and what they do. So give it a try and let me know. I'd love to, Aaron. Maybe next time we have you on, we'll get some feedback from you.
Full report.
How that went. And if you're interested, we're going to have Amber on talking about some of the new stuff that's coming from them here in the next couple weeks. So I'll ping you and let you know when we have that.
Yes, I'll be sure and watch it live. You
can have a listen. All right. Well, we are live. Speaking of live, we're live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv/live. Mike Uyghur is back next week. We've got some stuff lined up for you. If you're thinking about, hey, should I continue to listen? And you should really continue to listen live because we got some great stuff coming ahead, some great guests lineup, just like Aaron. And Aaron, again, thanks for coming back twice. You did awesome both times, and really appreciate you saying yes, especially to toothbrushes. But we are going to do. So we have Brian Freelander coming back. He's going to have the Echo or the Amazon show. So the new show that's coming out, he has one coming on pre-order. We're going to talk about that piece. Then the week after that's Amber. So you just have to wait 2 weeks, Aaron, to get that on. And then Mike and Mark are coming back. They're our grilling experts. So we're going to be talking all kind of grill tech. And we got some great stuff to talk about when they get here. So some great stuff ahead. Again, we're live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern at theaverageguy.tv live. We'll do a little bit of a post show, not too much, but stay around. With that, we'll say good night, everybody. All right, ladies, thank you.
My pleasure. That was fun.
Aaron, it's nice to meet you here.
You as well, Shauna.
Yeah.
Aaron, do you ever travel? You get to travel down to the U.S. very much? Do you ever make it? I mean, you're going to Washington, but do you ever come out to the Midwest at all? Ever? Any chance you come through Omaha for any reason?
I have not, but that's my husband and I kind of like to do a big road trip at least once a year, and more often than not, we will head stateside just because it's different for us.
Yeah.
So we've done basically everywhere we can drive to from Calgary. So we've driven as far as from Calgary to San Francisco and back. And then we did sort of the western states like Montana, got down as far as Colorado and Utah, and then came back up through the Dakotas. And then there was a couple of years ago, we were going to try and head sort of east and get, through the Great Lakes and down into the Midwest and come back. And just that's sort of it's just a bit too far from Calgary.
Yeah.
So what we have done though is done fly-in road trips. We flew down to Dallas a couple years ago, rented a vehicle, and then did a huge road trip sort of through Louisiana, Arkansas. Oh gosh, where else did we get to? So that might be an option because we'd love to see more of the Eastern US. And it just seems so beautiful. I would love to get to the Midwest. Would love to check out Omaha. So I'll put it on my roadie list.
You should fly into Chicago and then go Omaha, Kansas City, St. Louis, then back up to or Indianapolis, and then Chicago, and then fly home.
Oh my God, all the baseball cities. My husband will love this.
Oh yeah. That would be coming the summer. Do a stadium. Now we don't have a baseball team here. We have a AAA team, but you could do baseball stadiums here in the Midwest and really catch some great baseball.
And how's the camping out there? Because I know when we were in the U.S. South, they don't really camp there.
Yeah,
so we struggled with that.
It's not great. The West is so much better for camping. When you get out in Colorado and Utah and in Nevada, but there's camping spots you can camp if you want. But
I guess we just have to look for them and
yeah. No, that'd be a great little loop to kind of make here in the Midwest if you were going to see that. That's what I would.
Okay.
That's what I'd recommend. I know Shauna.
That might work out for next summer.
Shauna's a world traveler. Any ideas, Shauna? What would you do if you were going to see the Midwest? What would you do?
If I were going to see the Midwest, really?
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't.
Why would I go see it, Jim? I live here.
Why would I do that? Yeah, exactly. I think getting to Omaha would be great because it'd be great to meet you in person, but I totally am West Coast all the way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to San Diego tomorrow night, actually, so for a weekend. But yeah. West Coast for sure.
Stargate Pioneers reminded me, if you're doing that loop, that Chicago loop, you need to go to Minnesota. You need to go to Minneapolis, and
Oh yeah,
that would be a must too.
There's so many great cities out there. It would just be an amazing
Yeah.
10, 12 days.
Madison, Wisconsin is kind of a cool city too. I mean, the big lake, and it's just kind of like Madison is like no other city. They're fiercely independent, and they don't allow big box stores, and they don't. I mean, everything's local and kind of, it kind of hippie feel. It's just Madison's an interesting town. So if you gotta be in Wisconsin in that area, you can see from Chicago, you can get to a lot of those, and then Omaha's 8, Kansas City's 3, cross to St. Louis would be 6. So those are all day trips, to get to them. So,
cool. I like the suggestion from Stargate Pioneer, Black Hills in South Dakota. True. I have been through there, and it is stunning. I think, is it really? Devil's Tower?
Yep.
Is that the crazy tower thing?
Mm-hmm.
Natural land formation?
Yeah.
Words are failing me now.
It's a volcanic.
Yes.
It's a volcanic formation, but yeah. So there's a lot of cool things. I would recommend you're here in the Midwest in spring or fall. Don't come in the summer. It's super hot, and unless you were going to do baseball, and then you'd have to come during the College World Series. I mean, it's a big deal.
And is that held in Omaha?
It's here in Omaha.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had it for 60 some years now.
Oh wow, that sounds like fun.
We have a great park. It's a little expensive. It's tough to stay here. You could stay on the outskirts and come in for the game and stuff like that. But that's going on right now. So there was a game tonight, and it's just a blast. And it's pretty easy to get tickets. They're not terribly expensive, $35 to $50 probably, which pro has gotten to be $100. If you're going to get a good ticket, especially down there in Kansas City, because they
not
won.
in Seattle apparently though.
No,
I was watching the game the other night, and it's like the park was half empty. So
yeah,
I'm kind of hoping we can get some good tickets on walk up.
Oh, I bet you can. I mean, it's still expensive. Even though nobody's there, it's still an expensive. Pro or football is even worse here in the U.S. Just awful. What's it? So in Canada, say like I'm going to Calgary and I'm going to catch a pro hockey game. Fairly expensive to get tickets? Okay.
Yes. It's, oh my God. Somebody did the math on it a year or two ago, and it's like, it's basically out of reach for most average families because, the tickets are like $60, $80, $100 for anything half decent. And then of course, beer is about $10 Canadian.
And you have to drink beer.
And you have to drink beer. Even water is like, $5.
I think it's illegal to go to a hockey game in Canada and not drink beer. I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
If it's not, it should be. They go hand in hand.
Yes. Oh, that's great. Well, that is great.
That's what I'm talking about, Jim.
That's right. There was a couple times. Aaron, we could hear your Canadian.
My Canadian accent.
Your Canadian accent. You do pretty well. Do you for TV? Do you try to tone that down at all, or do you work at it at all, or does it not matter?
Honestly, and most Canadians will tell you this, we don't say a boot.
Yeah.
We don't hear that.
Right.
But we can hear.
But you say it.
But we say it, and we can also hear when Americans are saying things like, "Can you put that in a box?"
Yeah.
And we're like, a what now? A box. It's like, oh, a box, and they're like, a box. Like the linguistic differences are they make me laugh because Canadians don't think we have an accent, and Americans don't think you do unless you're from New York or Boston. But I think everybody does to some extent. So I don't try and tone it down to answer your question.
Well, I know in some media outlets, there's just a little bit of work done to kind of even out to even it out. And some broadcasters have worked on that just specifically. So I didn't know if there was any pressure to even to kind of even it out and make it more, because there is kind of a, especially since media is so global, there is kind of a general English least in North America, I think. So I don't know. I didn't know if that was something you had to do because you're on TV or you're in media, or if there's
not for here, because I mean, broadcasting to anywhere in Canada, that our accent is our accent, so they, you know, you wouldn't notice it so much. I have had people on the YouTube channel though comment that they find my accent cute or charming, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't have an accent.
I don't have an accent.
I don't have an accent.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, if you're listening live, thanks for coming out. We're going to end the post show. I need to get some things done here, and I don't want to keep these ladies too late. They turn into pumpkins from what I've heard. So we'll see you back here next week, guys. Thanks for coming out. Emily, great to see you as well. The one girl we have out there. See you.